right, welcome to this week's episode of The Pulse. I am your humble host, your humble storyteller, and tonight I am joined by none other than the villain. Thank you, sir, for joining with me tonight. This week's burning question: what, in your opinion, is the most important aspect of promoing?
That is a tough one. Because, for me, the most important aspect of it is telling the story, which is fun because you are the storyteller, and going from tying the story together from the beginning when you hype it up, trying to talk about who you want to go against and who you're going against, to you get to the match, and then you do the match, and then now you're just waiting to find out what happens. And then you just move on from there, and it's just there's always a new chapter to the story, and I think that's the most telling aspect of it is, and the most important one overall is just being able to tell the story. It doesn't matter how tense you can get, how soft you are, or how slow or how fast you can talk. It's just tell a story, and that's what that's what I think a lot of people actually have lost coming into doing actual promos. Is they're more worried about sounding more tough or making it sound like we're actually are going down to a ring and we're gonna go fight, instead of just as I'm gonna keep saying and probably beat that dead horse, just tell us the story.
Tell a good story. All right. I know this man's time is money and money is time, so we are joined by Mr. Rich Man.
Gentlemen, how are we tonight? What a wonderful motif you've got going on with the mood lighting and the darkness in the corners. I see the symbolism. I love it. I'm sold. Take the money, run, buy some production equipment, do something productive, please.
Well, we're not all of us are, multi-million-dollar owners of a very prestigious agency.
You could be if you had heart, brains, and courage.
I think I got those in spades, but that's not really the point.
Yeah, you used that spade to dig yourself into the hole that you're in, didn't you, Story? Come on, villain, that was funny. Spit that water out. That was funny. Funny! I got a sense of humor, damn it.
That was a little fun.
Mr. Rich Man, your client there, Mr. Alis Alverson, has a match coming up here tomorrow against Johnny Blade, defending his Soulfire title.
That's right. He is defending the Soulfire Championship against Mr. Johnny Blade, a man of whom it cannot fit around the waist of, so he's got no point in trying to win it.
All right, then. Could you... this week's burning question, if I could get your take on it, as a man who represents other people and their interests in this business, what do you think is the most important aspect of promoing, and why?
Well, you see, the most important aspect of promoing is manufactured conflict. And the key word there is manufactured. You people aren't very good in the manufacturing industry, so you got to dig into real conflict. And then that's when feelings start getting broken in half, and everybody starts complaining, and you get a better show behind the scenes than you do on the screen, because you people need to manufacture conflict, right? Just like you and I are doing right now, huh? That was a hell of a rib that I played with the spade there, but I think you're actually a worthwhile guy. I shouldn't have said it on screen because it doesn't apply to our manufactured conflict. Nevertheless, I did it because you want to ask these theoretical questions in the open forum.
Well, it is my show, so I will ask what questions I want to.
And I'll answer any questions that you ask.
Oh, okay. Let me see your ID. Wait, is that too far? Probably. Let's get on to things.
I got a question for you, storyteller.
Go ahead.
All right. So you're at the bank, hypothetically, right? And they screwed up. The bank screwed up. It's in your favor, though. They screwed up, and instead of putting your account balance, they accidentally put your social security number. How much money do you have?
About 9 numbers worth, give or take.
Come on, villain's muted because he knows it's so damn funny he can't stop laughing. I see him. He's broken. The villain's broken. The bad guy is laughing.
Well, it's like John Cena. You get the guy to break. Yeah, that's kind of one of the things, isn't it?
It has to be. It has to be. Somebody's got to do something around here.
I suppose so. But we take what responsibilities upon ourselves, which we can. We're all busy people. You especially. You've got agents to represent, and you got to represent your agents and whatever else it is you do up there in your ivory tower.
Have you figured out that you screwed it up yet and said I represent agents? All right, you gonna dig your way out of this, sir? Huh? You got that in spades too? Huh?
It didn't happen, and I'm not really worried about bantering semantics.
Uh-huh.
Play on words, word play, wordsmith, word to your mother.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Bill, on a scale of 1 to 5, where would you rate that? Where would you rate that? Wordsmith, wordplay, word to your mother.
I'd probably give it a 3. You put me on the spot. It's not my best material, but sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't.
Well, Villain gives you a 2, or is that deuces? Is he rolling on out of here because he can't stand it? But there he goes. He's still broken, ladies and gentlemen. The Villain is off of the fire coast tonight. Man, wow.
Well, this week's episode of Who Will Break First? On my right, we've got the Villain. He's already lost 17 points because he smiled. Yeah. And unfortunately, we can't see Rich Man's face, so we can't see if he breaks.
Well, unfortunately, that's better for both of us, isn't it? If trust me, if you saw my face right now looking in my office, well, that'd be a show worth having. Ain't gonna happen.
Well, usually people put pants on before they get on screen, but hey, I guess that's why we only hear your voice.
Right. I don't think what Villain is wearing pants right now, if I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Hey now, you're a rock star. Get your game on, go play. Well, ain't this fun, Rich Man?
You got some Smash Mouth TV going on here, don't you, storyteller?
Yeah. It's great, man. It's entertaining for the one people watching, I suppose. Here in HSP, we strive to give people something.
Something indeed. We got something going on here. So now that we've evaluated the burning question, let's get down to the good stuff.
All right, the good stuff. Your client's match against Johnny Blade for said Soulfire title.
Yeah.
And without giving away any trade secrets, what has your client done to prepare for this match, if anything?
Well, if you're familiar with A-List Alverson, you know that he puts a lot of effort into the what he likes to call the elements of promo, and he breaks it down to 3 considerable pieces. Number 1 is the verbal delivery. Number 2 is the visual presentation, and then number 3 is the theoretical premise. Now, see, what I think happens a lot of times is that people get lost in the shuffle of what they got going on. Their promo either looks terrible, sounds terrible, or doesn't mean anything. I've seen it a million times, and I've only seen 40 promos. It's crazy. Anyway, so A-List Alverson will bring the whole package of the goods. He's going to look beautiful. He's going to sound like $1 million. And what he said is going to be something worth experiencing because it makes sense. You know what I mean?
I hear you. Villain, what are your thoughts on the Johnny Blade A-List Alverson match?
It's not going to be a contest. Pretty much what Rich Man is saying is completely accurate. Even in the times that A-List has lost, which has only been, I guess, given up the title himself instead of actually losing. So technically, in my eyes, he's never lost. It's just no contest. You have somebody who inspires to be an indie manager, wrestler. I don't know which one's which right now with him. And then you have the best competitor in pretty much all of promo going at it. Okay. How do you see that even? I think A-List will be done by the time 1 minute hits, and then he's going to be off on a jet somewhere, going to some private island. So.
Well, just make sure it's not, the private island. We are joined by none other than Sarge Dismissed. How are you doing this week, Sergeant Chaos?
Not bad at all. It's been a week.
All right.
I swear, I thought I was about to ask it. Are you not? I was hoping you were not working out.
No,
Like,
no.
All right, Sarge, this week's burning question. In your opinion, what is the most important aspect of promoing and why?
I've talked to a lot of people about, for me specifically, like how I could improve and this, that, and the other. And one of the most common threads I think I've heard from most of them was making it believable. I mean, if you can, if you can get the people watching and the people who are looking at your stuff to believe, there's some believability to what you're saying, and they can kind of get invested in it at that point. At which point, you can kind of bring them to the edge of their seat and make them wonder what's going to happen next.
That's a good point. I remember back when me and Half Past Black were doing stuff in our backyard YouTube glory days for BCW. I used to have my own brother and my own dad ask me, "Are you sure you're okay? That looked like that bump hit pretty hard." So
Right.
when you can fool even those closest to you, then maybe you're onto something. That's a good point.
I've had a few people kind of, after seeing a few of my hypes or something that I've put out, message me directly and go, "Dude, are you really okay? You sounded pretty pissed off." And I'm like, "Dude, that was just the character, that was not me personally. That was me in my character mode doing my thing, and I had to make it be as believable as possible. So if I looked pissed off, they would think I was pissed off."
I think that's the whole issue.
well, and honestly, with and I don't want to put Sergeant Chaos on the spot here, but I know you've had some messages not only in one locker room but another locker room, and one of the things that I think for me, seeing everybody, you normally would think, hey, these guys are all fighting on screen and a giant soap opera, that we can't come together and help one another out. And
Mm-hmm.
for you, I know I've said it once by writing it down, you continue building onto the character. I think that everything you've said so far is true. Also continue to build the character. You have one of the greatest characters that I've seen in a while. And because we both have that background. We're both veterans. Actually, all three of us are veterans. So you're using that as your character as well, and it has so much you could do to it. And it's always a joy to watch you, because every single time you have gotten better. So never get yourself down, dude. Just keep going. Just
Thank you.
when you think it gets tough, do what the Army says. Do what the Army does. We just keep rolling along.
Right. I've heard it best by I honestly don't remember even who said it. It's been so long ago, but it was, if you stay as one version of that character, you'll kind of start to get bland. You'll get to the point where everybody's like, okay, I've seen that. Every time it's this person, it's always the same. There has to be a evolution, like you were saying, so to speak. Like that character, each and every time they come out, maybe needs to be just a little bit more evolved than they were the previous match, which is why I've tried, working on my editing a little bit better, with different things, throwing some backgrounds in there, some music, maybe some video effects, or, one of the apps I use has an option for where you could pre-record something, audio, and throw it over it as like a voiceover. But maybe if you're, say for example, you're playing a character that's maybe a little off in the head and are talking to the voices, and you want the person watching to hear that voice, you could record something and then turn the volume down just a little bit so it sounds like a voice that maybe everyone else shouldn't normally hear, but because you're bringing the people into your head, they're in there with it and they're hearing it if it were like in there.
It's amazing what we could do with editing with just our phones,
Very
That's
much so.
of it. Now, Villain and Sarge, y'all have got a match coming up tomorrow for the number one contendership for the tag teams. What is y'all thoughts on that?
I don't know. It's going to be a dogfight. As people have noticed, you haven't really seen myself and Tin Man on screen. We decided that after our last loss, we were going to take time and regroup and try to figure things out and try to understand what's all going to go on. But yet, you also have these other two competitors who, in my eyes, are also still trying to, like, I know you guys have tagged in other places and tagged on here before, so it's going to be interesting to see how you guys gel together in a live format with us, because you never know what's going to happen. Like, you don't know which version of the villain's going to show up. You don't know what Tin Man's going to do on screen to try to break one of you guys. So it's going to be a challenge either way for both sides, because I've never faced Sarge. As much as I think it'd be a joy and I think it'd be a pleasure to go against him in a one-on-one, I don't know how it's going to be when it comes to a tag match. So, and shit, I don't even remember. How many of you are there in that stable of yours? Like, I can't tell.
There's a few.
It's like, I don't even know who you guys are sending out with you. It's just,
There's at least 4 of us.
Is it Blackheart that's coming out with you? Is it, what is it, Heathen, Purge? Who is it?
Heathen's definitely not part of this group.
Oh.
Are you really
Definitely.
doing this, Villain? Are you really pretending like you're going to come out live to live? I know this match is in the can. You guys probably did it last weekend. You're talking about editing software, and then you're going to pretend that this match is going to happen in real time tomorrow. Come on, consistency. That's the most important aspect of promoing.
Yes, Rich Man. Do I need to send you the check again? Is that what it is? Did my check bounce again?
Yeah, make sure it clears this time, will you?
Okay, I can make sure.
You know, the Discover's card. I hear they have overdraft protection. But Rich Man, your thoughts on the team match?
The tag team match.
The tag team match, yes.
I'm interested to see exactly what happens, because the last time we saw Tin Man, he phoned it in like no world title match I have ever seen before. The guy was trying to become the Pure Heart champion, and the first thing he says is, I don't want to win this match. Now he's going to go into a contender match for the tag team titles. He didn't want to win the last championship he was in. What makes me think he's going to show up and try to win this one? If anything, it's going to be Villain doing all the work, and then Tin Man just kind of chimes in with some kind of nonsense either way. I'm sure that Sarge there, the angry one with 4 exclamation points, is going to try hard. But does he actually have any sort of talent to go out there and wow people? I've been taking a nap for the last 10 minutes since he came on screen. And by the way, can we talk again about consistency? Storyteller has no capital letters in his name. Villain has all in his. And then the angry one seems to have left the one out on one word. You almost made it. You almost made it, Sarge. Not quite.
I was to capitalize.
We can't always be perfect like Rich Man. Not everybody can have the perfection all the time.
This is television, people. You want to prepare for what's going to happen.
No, I'm prepared for what's going to happen.
You mean to tell me Storyteller is in fact not a proper noun? You are actually just a run-of-the-mill storyteller, no reason to actually pull you apart from anything else. That's what I'm reading on the screen here, right?
Well, it kind of encompasses my character. I am a humble storyteller.
Oh, I see. I see. Humble means lowercase. I'm going to remember that.
In this case, it does. It's my logic. It doesn't have to make sense. But we've got other matches coming up tomorrow. We got Mary Sue versus Vagabond. That one should be interesting. Sergeant Chaos, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've seen both of their stuff. I've seen them on screen multiple times, and I feel that Mary Sue could go either way. She could pull out a just shocking, epic victory, or she could pull out nothing and fall flat. I mean, it could go either way. I mean, because she's had both. She's bounced back and forth. She's had her on times and her off times, just like most of us have. But Vagabond kind of, I don't know, I'm starting to get a little bored with his stuff. I mean, it's the same old thing over and over and over again. The Shadow Realm and this flashy little, edit that he throws in there where he goes from looking like his normal self to this neon shrouded fucking whatever it is. And it's the same dog and pony show. And it just kind of starting to bore me early,
Oh, it's funny you should say that because we are joined by none other than Vagabond.
You stupid asshole! He was waiting back here the whole time.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest. You want honesty? I'm giving it to you.
All right. Now it's a party because we are joined by none other than my tag team partner, Half Past Black.
Well, what a rousing ovation this guy got, huh?
You're better than the rich man.
That's for sure.
Dog in a pony show. That's interesting.
Dog and Pony Show.
Because for one thing, there's literally nobody else on the circuit that's doing the same thing I'm doing. I mean, yes, you could find imitators, but they're nowhere near as good at the mic as I am. I'm just being honest. I mean, yeah, I do, but there's a whole methodology that comes with it. Because the moment I flip the switch, the atmosphere changes, the voice changes, the verbiage changes. It just adds more, much more to what I do. That's why I do it. I could take you to a different place if I wanted to, just with the snap of my fingers. It's what I do.
What we do. Vagabond, let me pose this week's burning question to you real quick. In your opinion, what is the most important aspect of promoing and why?
To me, the most important aspect of promoing is more than the words you speak, more than how you look at the camera. It's the voice. Because the tone of voice is, to me, what sets the tone for everything moving forward. Because if you voice down, you can change it to like something light, dark, or have something intense behind it. You're like, ooh, I don't know some of the words this guy's saying, but there's intensity. It's there. I've seen some people get by with just that, but the tone of voice more than anything else matters in the promo game. Because if you don't have that down, then it's going to be kind of hard to get your point across, to tell a story or craft the narrative.
Okay.
The tone does establish a lot about where you're going with things, whether how intense you are, how passionate you are about a certain thing. That does for sure.
Half Past Black. Same question.
With me, I think it more or less like have to be the most important part is always getting your point across, the validity. Like, because your intensity can be there all day long. Your voice can be there all day long. You cannot miss a beat all day long. But if you haven't made your point, talking to that. So, getting your point across. That's the most important part to telling this story.
All right. We got everybody caught up. we already know who Vagabond thinks is going to win his match against Mary Sue. But F Past Black, what are your thoughts on Mary Sue versus Vagabond?
I think it's gonna be interesting. Like, once again, it's one of those situations where it's gonna be like, which Mary Sue we gonna get? You know, like, I mean, that's what it's all about. Like, because I've seen her. Like 1 minute, she's like that crazy ass yin yang symbol. Like, you never know which Mary Sue you're gonna get. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and be like a bold-faced lie and not sit there and say 9 times out of 10 Vagabond delivers. And if you can't believe that, you're a damn liar yourself. You know. So I'm gonna have to go with Vagabond because, like I say, 9 times out of 10, the man delivers.
Mm-hmm. All right. You weren't here for it, but Vagabond, what are your thoughts on the Johnny Blade versus A-List Alverson match for the Soulfire title?
As much momentum as Johnny Blade has, A-List Alverson is probably going to cook him. Because what a lot of people don't realize, even though A-List Alverson is like this rich guy, this loud, boisterous, arrogant, egotistical maniac, there's a reason he does this. He wants you to pay attention to all of these things up until promo time, up until match time, because when you get to match time and you're facing A-List Alverson, he'll do a little bit of the flaunting of the ego and the cars and everything, but then he flips the switch. He shows you why he's A-List Alverson, why he's the A-lister.
I mean, A-List Alverson has definitely honed his craft. You know, I hear stories from time to time about how while he was working his way through Juilliard, he used to go to Central Park and do miming for tips to support himself. So, I mean, the man has got the chops. Absolutely, definitely. You know? Half Past Black, your thoughts?
I don't really know. Like, I'm not gonna sleep on Johnny Blade. You know, I'm not gonna sleep on him. Like, the man does his homework. Like, the man knew more about me and my match against him. And that was his second match here. You know what I'm saying? He knew a lot about me. He spoke about my history. He spoke about what I'd done. So you don't think he's capable of finding out or studying A-List? You know, I mean, let's just keep it. I'm gonna just keep it 100. Like, yeah, A-List is good. He's consistent, but I can take an A-List promo, and it's gonna be always an A-List promo. You know, it's not gonna like he's not gonna surprise me. One of my favorite artists to watch is AEP because he surprises me sometimes.
Yeah.
You know,
actually, AEP has a match tomorrow against Purge.
Oh, see, I'm going with AEP on that one. Okay, but like, I like the surprises. You know what I'm saying? Like, A-List to me has become very bland. And then another thing is like, I'm gonna state this. You know, like, I don't feel like he earned his title. Like, he just kind of like jumped in the middle of a match that made it a 3-way that he was already mentally prepared for, and you know, took advantage of the situation. You got to give him that. He calculated, but I don't feel like the man has earned the right to really be called champion. You know, he's earned the right to be called great, but not champion.
Well, that's an interesting take. Vagabond, AEP versus Purge. Any thoughts on that?
It could honestly go either way because AEP is improving because he's not relying on the Secret Garden as much like he used to. He only does sparingly. But Purge is good too. He's been stepping it up. It could go either way. But if I had to bet, I would have to give it to AEP because he just keeps improving. he's getting better and better as the weeks go by.
Interesting. Sergeant Chaos, AEP versus Purge.
You know, like everybody's kind of seems to be echoing the same sentiment, and I think there's some validity to that for the fact that AEP has been taking steps to improve his game and change things up a little bit. But at the same time, so has the Purge, and in some ways, because he's kind of mixed in a couple of different versions of the Purge in there. And depending on which one you get, depends on how intense it's going to be, and it's kind of a. I don't know, I'm going to go 25-75, and I'm leaning towards Purge on this one because I mean he's got some tricks in the bag that he could pull out and throw out there that if you've prepared for one version and not all versions, then you get a different one than what you prepared for, you're going to be off your game and you're going to be on the back foot trying to react every time.
Okay. And Villain, your thoughts?
That's a tough one. Both have seemed to step it up a bit. I'm not the only one that has echoed that from the beginning. They've both stepped it up. The difference is AEP. He's found that new gear. It's like he's finding his way to get to the cusp of that championship, and then all of a sudden he gets knocked down, turned away, however you want to look at it, and all of a sudden, what do you see? He's gearing back up and trying to make that push once again. So I have to pretty much bet on AEP as the horse that's going to win that race. Not taking anything away from Purge, but to me, as Sergeant Chaos said earlier about Vagabond, Sergeant Chaos to me, not Sergeant Chaos, but Purge is a one-trick pony. Yes, you could say he has multiple versions, but he's only just doing what other people have already done, and he's relied a little too much on that. So,
okay, it's an interesting take. Half past black. We got Prince Blackheart versus Mr. Wallace. Your thoughts on that match?
I'm gonna go with Mr. Wallace gonna eat Blackheart ass alive. Like that's gonna be a 3. There ain't gonna be a 3-0 on that show. That's gonna be a 3-0. I'm calling that a 3-0. Like Fried died and laid to the side. Yeah. I'm calling that a 3-0. That's a lopsided match. They shouldn't even book it.
Okay. Villain, your thoughts?
I'm gonna have to honestly agree with what he said. It is not fair to Prince Blackheart. Like, wasn't Mr. Wallace last match a loss? And who was that loss to?
Johnny Blade.
So, Mr. Wallace is coming out for blood. He doesn't care if by the time that he shows up on screen, Blackheart has already put everybody to sleep.
Okay.
So at that point, he's going to eat him alive, spit him out, and then step on him afterwards, and not even look back. It's that bad of a match. That is the worst matchup that you could. Well, actually, no, it's probably the second worst because anybody versus A-List right now is a terrible matchup. So it's the second worst matchup possible for anybody.
I think that's just they shouldn't have done it. If I was Blackheart, I'll write a damn letter to the committee about putting my ass in that kind of match. That's what I would do.
I would have added a stipulation or something to it where like Wallace had to sit there and pretty much be duct taped the entire time. Heck, I think I even threw that out against Purge and said, hey, I would go against Purge and I'll sit there and do my entire promo with my mouth duct taped and I would still find a way to win. And apparently he still doesn't want to take me up on that offer. So, yeah.
That's an interesting concept, because good promo artists should be able to deliver without any vocalization or even speaking gibberish. We've been talking about it all night. Inflection, all these different things that make a promo artist. So a good promo artist should be able to get up on stage and just speak gibberish, and you still can understand kind of what he's going for. That's an interesting challenge. But Vagabond, your thoughts on Wallace versus Blackheart?
Who sanctioned this match, first of all? Because Jesus Christ, like Mr. Wallace is in a good mood after losing his last match. Ooh, he. I've tagged with the dude. I faced him. He's a menace. Like people think all the time, like, oh, he's distracted whenever he does his times. Like, no. There's a reason he does that. He wants you to pay very, very close attention, because when it comes down to match time, he does not come to play. I feel bad for Prince Blackheart. He might want to step away for a little bit after losing a lot, because
the judges are going to literally give him pity points. They may make it look close just for pity.
Chaos.
Say it again.
Your thoughts on the Prince Blackheart versus Mr. Wallace?
Well, having faced off against Mr. Wallace in a few different places before, knowing exactly what he's capable of, I'm in agreement with pretty much everyone else. This is going to be lopsided. I mean, as much as I like, Blackheart, and all that, I think it's going to be a lopsided match, because no one comes out with more of a vicious attack than someone who's been on a loss that they probably should have never suffered in the first place. And when he comes out like that, Wallace is going for blood. He is going straight for the jugular, and it's going to be over before the match, before his allotted time is even half over. It's already going to be done.
All right.
He's vicious.
All right. Finally, the last match on the card that we haven't covered, we've got Damian Cross versus the man from the land, Rob. We'll start with Villain. Your thoughts?
So our bathroom match of the night is being presented by which sponsor again?
I think it's Colgate this week.
Colgate? Okay. So this is probably the least inspired match on the card. Granted, for once, it's not actually towards Damian Cross. I actually am, just like AEP, I have been impressed by Damian Cross. And there's three people that I could say I get impressed by just because they come on, well, technically four. They come out on screen, show after show. They may not always win a match, may not even get a single judge's vote, but they still come out and they give it their all. And each one of those people have improved, and Damian is one of those people. He has improved on screen every single time he's been out there, and it's been a joy to watch. Like, if everybody remembers, last year I pretty much ripped him a new asshole. I came out on screen, and I got pulled aside by management last year after I said what I said, and I was told that was rough. And But ever since, he has stepped it up, and so I hope that he can bring that same Damian Cross. If he can ever tap back into that Damian Cross that was the show right after I pretty much lit the fire under him, I could see him as a contender for a championship, because that's how much dedication, that's how much time, that's how much he has put into it, that's how much passion he is showing to do it. So if I have to pick a winner, it's going to be Damian Cross. Rob doesn't look like he even cares about being on screen. He just wants to sit there, open up, have a pint, and then be done with the day. It's going to be Damian Cross because he has the passion.
All right, Half Past Black lighting the candle over here. Your thoughts?
I don't know. that to me, that's gonna be completely up in the air because on one hand, you do have Damian Cross, who is constantly improving, but every once in a while, the man from the land pulls something out of his ass. I mean, still here. Like something gotta say something right there. Like I, just to make it a little bit not so one side. I'm gonna go with the man from the land. To be honest with you,
He's literally gonna have to pull out a Belgian waffle out of his ass to pull out that victory. Come on.
Well, there you go.
he's one.
Sergeant Chaos, your thoughts?
Let's see.
Man from the land versus Damian Cross.
Yeah, that could be an interesting one. I think Damien's a little more three-dimensional than Rob is. Rob's more of that. I don't even know if I'd quite give him two-dimensional status because I mean he's seems kind of flat on most things, and there's not a whole lot of emotion. There's not a whole lot of intensity or excitement going on there. It's kind of
So basically, what you're saying is he's like a flat beer.
a beer with no alcoholic content.
Oh, Bulls.
Let me ask you a question real quick, Sergeant.
Yeah.
If someone comes to you like, I kill you. If someone goes, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Which one you gonna believe?
Neither one of them. Because anybody that's going to do it ain't going to talk about it. They're going to be about it.
Good point.
I've seen some shit where motherfuckers call a shot, But me personally, I feel like
I'm not going to call my shot. I'm going to come out there and just let you have it, and I'm going to blindside you with it when you ain't seeing it coming. When you least expect it, from a place you will not see comes a shot you will not hear, and then it's all over.
Look, I feel like a certain level of cadence overrides pure intensity sometimes. Like, I'm about as intense as they come. I got one of the worst records in this motherfucker. Come
I
on.
honestly believe there needs to be a mix of intensity plus that cadence to go with it, the kind of that flow.
You got to
But
find
you
that.
need to just get up there and make sure you're felt, make sure you're heard at the same time.
All right.
So pretty much the moral of the story, from what it sounds like from everybody, whoever pulls the rabbit out of their ass will get the victory.
I don't know. Vagabond ain't said shit yet.
As I've been trying to get back to Vagabond, your thoughts? Damian Cross versus.
If Rob maybe had a faster cadence and a stronger narrative, I would think he would win. But then you got Damian Cross over here, who's loud. I mean, he's a little slow behind his words, but when he gets to his point, everything comes together. I mean, he doesn't win all the time, but like his narrative is there. As long as he stays focused, he'll win. I don't know about Rob. If he can step it up, that is. Because this is the main event.
All right. That's the card for tomorrow. Let's go around the room. Final thoughts, starting with Villain.
Oh, man. I have no final thoughts today. I'm going to save it all for tomorrow.
Okay. Sergeant Chaos, final thoughts.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with what Villain said earlier in the show here. It's gonna be an interesting little slugfest for that tag team #1 contenders. You never know what you're gonna get. There could be some surprises laying in wait for them that they just don't know they're coming yet. You never know. It's a toss up. Flip a coin and see what we get.
All right. Half Past Black, final thoughts.
Well, my final thoughts. I want y'all to remember in that tag team that Chaotic Order, we will be back. So don't just ride me off into the sunset. So
I thought we took you to the nursing home.
Ooh, ooh.
And
Them
finally,
spicy words.
Vagabond, final thoughts.
Hmm. I think everybody on the card is going to show up and show out, all except for Mary Sue. Because last week, if y'all remember on the Pulse, Brick brought up a good point. She's not consistent. She's had a few things here and there. Maybe she'll step up. Maybe she won't. But I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen anything. And I'm like, it's almost like it's just like last time when we faced off. Didn't say anything, didn't do anything. I mean, she came on the Pulse the one time, did the cat thing, didn't really do anything. It's going to be a whole lot of nothing. Whole lot of nothing.
All right. Well, that about wraps up this episode of The Pulse. Tune in tomorrow for the show. Until next time, I am the humble storyteller, and this has been The Pulse.
Exactly.